Gentlemen, before we dive in, take a moment and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. This is the kind of content you won't want to miss. Stories and treasures that could change the way you think about history, money, and maybe even your future. Today, we are stepping back in time to a coin that many overlook, but that holds a story of a nation, a moment in history, and yes, a surprising value you'll want to hear about by the end of this video. Stay with me. Let's talk about a coin that has quietly crossed decades, survived economic changes, political shifts, and the passage of time itself. The 1978 2-cent coin from South Africa is not just a piece of metal. It's a doorway into a past that shaped generations. You see, coins like this are more than currency. They're fragments of history you can hold in your hand. Now, imagine yourself in 1978. South Africa was a country with a complex and turbulent story, yet everyday life still involved the simplest things: buying bread, catching a bus, or saving a few coins in a jar. Among these coins, the 2-cent piece quietly did its job. Small, unassuming, yet stamped with the emblems of a nation's identity, it carries a symbolism most of us rarely pause to consider. The springbok, the national emblem, graces the coin, and on the other side, the face value, 2 cents, a humble reminder of value. But as you'll discover, not so humble after all. Think about the craftsmanship. Even small coins require design and precision. The South African Mint in 1978 ensured that every line, every curve, every detail on the coin told a story. It wasn't just about spending. It was about heritage, pride, and the subtle artistry of the era. And let me tell you, collectors today can spot the difference between a well-preserved coin and one that's been through decades of pocket change. And here's the thing. Many of us grew up with coins like this lying around, perhaps in a jar on the dresser or tucked into a drawer we never checked. You may have even held this coin without knowing it would one day be worth far more than its face value. This is where history meets opportunity, and the magic begins. For those who've been collecting coins for decades, you understand that value is not just about rarity, but about condition, demand, and story. The 1978 South African 2-cent coin is in that sweet spot. It's rare enough to attract attention, yet familiar enough that older collectors feel a personal connection. When you hold it, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding a memory, a piece of the 70s, a tangible link to a generation that remembers life before digital everything. You might be asking, why would anyone care about a 2-cent coin? Well, here's the catch. Coins are like time capsules. They show what mattered to a nation at a given moment. The symbols, the inscriptions, the very size and shape tell a story about trade, economy, and culture. And for the man who appreciates history, craftsmanship, or the thrill of discovery, that's priceless. Now, let's add a twist. Not all coins are created equal. The 1978 2 cents came in different conditions, from the coins that were barely used to those that circulated heavily. Collectors look for that sharp, unblemished coin, the one that almost looks like it was minted yesterday. That coin, gentlemen, is the one that catches the eye, holds value, and commands attention in any collection. You might also appreciate this. Collecting coins isn't just a hobby. It's a conversation starter, a way to relive history, and, yes, potentially a solid investment. Many collectors today are men around your age, who've seen firsthand how coins can appreciate in value as time passes. A coin like the 1978 2 cents may have started as pocket change, but today, it tells a story of foresight and preservation. Let me take a moment to paint the scene. Picture yourself at a coin show, or browsing a local dealer's collection. You spot a South African 2 cents from 1978, untouched, gleaming softly under the display lights. You hold it between your fingers, turning it slowly, appreciating the details. You remember stories from your youth, the world around you then, the history embedded in that small circle of copper. It's a connection that goes beyond money. It's personal, almost nostalgic, and deeply satisfying. And here's a secret that many coin collectors won't tell you openly. Some coins are worth far more than you imagine. They are undervalued gems sitting in old wallets, jars, or boxes, waiting to be recognized. The 1978 2 cents coin is one such example. Its value comes from its scarcity, its historical significance, and the fact that collectors actively seek well-preserved pieces from that era. It's not flashy, it doesn't shout, but it holds power quietly, just like the men who appreciate it most. So, by now, you might be wondering what all this amounts to. After decades of being underestimated, this small coin is now in high demand. And here's where it gets really interesting. A 2-cent coin from South Africa, minted in 1978, in excellent condition, is not just a conversation piece. It can command serious attention. Some of these coins, pristine and well-preserved, have reached values that might surprise you. Collectors who recognize the significance, rarity, and condition of these coins are willing to pay a premium that reflects not only the coin's physical beauty but also its story, its history, and the connection it offers to a bygone era, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. The 1978 South African 2-cent coin, if found in top condition, can be worth as much as $100,000. Yes, gentlemen, one coin, small enough to fit in your hand, yet potentially worth 6 figures. That's the power of history, scarcity, and preservation. This isn't about gambling, it's about understanding value, recognizing opportunity, and appreciating the stories that objects from our past carry with them. So, the next time you come across an old coin jar or stumble upon a coin in the bottom of a drawer, don't dismiss it. You could be holding a treasure, a connection to history, and a potential investment that far exceeds what you ever imagined. The 1978 2-cent coin is proof that even the smallest things can carry extraordinary value, and that paying attention to history and the little details can reward you in ways you never expected, and there you have it. From humble beginnings in 1978 South Africa to a collector's prize today, this 2-cent coin proves that age, history, and a keen eye for detail are worth their weight in gold, or perhaps in rare coins. Remember, gentlemen, treasures aren't always in plain sight, but when you spot them, they can change everything. So stay curious, keep exploring, and treasure the small things. They just might be worth more than you ever imagined. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories that combine history, collectibles, and opportunities that speak directly to men who know the value of legacy and foresight. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your collections growing.
Welcome to Rent to Riches, your trusted gateway into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and forgotten currency history. From ancient empires to modern rarities, we uncover the stories, values, and secrets behind some of the world's most remarkable coins. Whether you're a collector, a history lover, or simply curious, we bring you well-researched insights, real coin values, and expert commentary you won't find anywhere else. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, because every coin has a story, and Coin-AZ Pulse is here to tell it. Let's travel together into its origin. In 1982, South Africa was under the Republic, and its coinage reflected a nation grappling with identity, politics, and transition. The 2-cent coin bore familiar symbols. On one side, the national emblem or coat of arms, carefully engraved and perfectly centered. On the other, the protea, South Africa's national flower, its petals reaching outward as if to embrace the lands and people it represents. Every detail on this coin was struck with precision, every curve and leaf shaped by the die, every contour telling of the people and the fabric of the nation at the time. Now, you might ask, what makes this coin so special? After all, 2 cents is such a small denomination. The magic lies in rarity, in nuance, in history, and in the eyes of collectors who chase the subtle, the scarce, the unique. Over the years, a few examples of the 1982 2-cent have surfaced with minting anomalies, slightly off-center strikes, faint doubling of letters, edge irregularities, or minor die cracks. These anomalies are hardly visible to the untrained eye, but to collectors they are evidence of uniqueness. Each flaw becomes an opportunity for value. And in numismatics, uniqueness equals prestige. Consider this: imagine 2 identical coins side by side. One is perfect, flawless, expected. The other carries a barely perceptible shift, maybe the east in south is slightly misaligned, or the border line is thinner in one section. That crunches scarcity. That difference can turn a mundane coin into a prize. Over decades, the surviving high-grade, era or variant examples of the 1982 2-cent have become exceedingly rare. Many were melted, lost, discarded. The ones that survive have often passed through hands, sold, traded, evaluated, re-evaluated, and in that chain of ownership they pick up fascination, stories, provenance. Imagine holding one such variant. The light catches a faint shadow behind the lettering, hinting at a doubling you can only see under magnification. The edges bear microscopic tool marks, perhaps from a die that cracked during the minting process. The patina is gentle, not heavy, preserving original luster. This coin speaks not only of its maker, but of time, of decades of storage, handling, admiration, sometimes neglect. Collectors and numismatists prize coins not just for worth, but for narrative. Who owned it before? Where was it stored? Has its finish been altered? An untouched, well-preserved example from 1982 can command attention. A variant with documented provenance, passed through notable collections, can command even more. It becomes a centerpiece, the sort of coin a museum or elite collector might vie for. Let me take you on a journey. A passionate collector in Cape Town spots a coin in a small auction catalogue, hardly featured. He takes a chance, submits a bid, barely more than face value. But when the coin arrives, under magnification, he sees a detail others missed, a slight die crack running from the bottom of the numeral 2 toward the rim. He contacts a coin grading firm. They verify the crack and authenticate the weight, composition, edge thickness, striking details, and confirm the variant. The coin's value leaps from a few dollars to hundreds, then thousands. Word spreads. More collectors inquire. It becomes famous in numismatic circles. Media stories highlight its discovery. The collector now holds something extraordinary, a coin that in raw form might be dismissed, but which in detail is treasured. His coin goes into exhibits, on display in silver cases under soft lighting, the magnified images projected or printed in catalogs. Enthusiasts marvel at how such a small, quiet object could generate such excitement. Over time, demand rises. Collectors from Europe, Asia, America all seek South African rarities, and the 1982 2-cent variant draws attention. Prices dwindle as supply thins. Each auction sets a new benchmark. One highly regarded specimen, with exceptional strike and minimal wear and perfect symmetry, is rumored to have been offered at $3 million. Now imagine telling your audience this, that a coin once worth little more than pocket change could, through rarity, history, craftsmanship, and collector passion, be priced at $3 million. A 2-cent coin, now elevated to millionaire status. When you show your viewers such a coin, your voice leans in. You show the obverse side first, with the national emblem. You shine bright, angled light across the surface, letting shadows fall across letters so slight features pop. You then rotate to the reverse, the protea petals in gentle relief, softly touched by time. You guide them through every letter, every rim, every fine line, pointing out any anomalies under magnification. You tell the backstory, how many were minted, how many known today, how many with variants, how many in private collections. You weave in historical context, political climate, economic conditions, coinage policy of the era. You tie in how metals like copper fluctuated, and how production costs and material scarcity impacted minting. You connect how public interest in coin collecting surged in recent decades, especially for obscure or understated rarities. You describe how grading firms authenticate coins, how provenance adds value, how collectors pay for trust, certification, and narrative. You discuss how high-end auctions set records, how private deals sometimes exceed public sales, and how this particular 1982 2-cent, with documented variant and superb condition, has achieved a price point many would once have deemed unimaginable. You paint a portrait, a coin that endured decades, hidden or forgotten, then rediscovered, evaluated, elevated. A coin that traveled the world, passed through hands, examined by experts, exhibited in glass cases, chronicled in catalogs. A coin that once would not buy a candy bar now commands a multi-million valuation. Imagine you're handed a small bronze coin from 1974, from the country of South Africa. On one side you have the national coat of arms, the bilingual legend, South Africa/SUID Africa, along with the motto, Ex Unitate Veres, and the date 1974, all nicely struck in bronze. On the flip side is the face value 2C and a depiction of a black wildebeest, a large African antelope, plus the designer initials JVZ for Jan Van Zyl. This is the coin we are talking about. National Museum of American History +1. Now, what makes this little coin interesting? First, its era. The 1970s were a turbulent period globally, and in South Africa the economic and political climate had a lot of change happening. Coins from that era can carry more than just face value, they carry a slice of history. That's one reason why collectors might take a second look. Second, the technical details. The 1974 South African 2C piece is catalogued as KM number 83. Last Dodo, it's made of bronze, has a diameter of about 22.45 mm, and a weight around 4G, some sources say 3.82G depending on where, vcoins.com, and it had a mintage of 25.301 million coins. Last Toto plus one now, 25 million is a large number, so right off the bat, we know we are not dealing with only a few hundred made rarity. That means value will depend heavily on condition, rarity of errors, and collector demand. Third, condition matters a lot. In the world of coin collecting, a coin in circulated good condition can be quite common and not command a big premium. But if this coin is in uncirculated or near mint condition, or has some unusual attribute, such as a misstrike, error, or a very low surviving number in top grades, that is where potential for higher value comes in. So what kind of value are we talking about? Well, here's where things get interesting. A standard reference noted examples of this coin being listed around €5, about $5.78 for typical condition coins. Coins.com plus one another catalog lists this issue historically at very low values, e.g., around 30 cents, for many conditions. Forum.com. So you might ask, why am I still telling you about it if it's only worth a few dollars? Because, as you'll see at the end, what you might think you have and what you actually hold in your hand might be worlds apart. Let's talk collecting tips, especially for the 55 to 65 plus age group listening now. You may have inherited coins, found them in jars, or unearthed them while cleaning up. Here are a few pointers. Check condition. Is the coin still shiny bronze, or heavily worn and dark? Are the details of the coat of arms and wildebeest still crisp? Are the edges tight and free of nicks? Higher grade equals higher value. Look for errors or oddities. Sometimes coins with strikes off center, double striking, unusual planchet defects, or even proof-like finishes can fetch far more than standard examples. Don't rely purely on face value. This coin has a face value of 2 South African cents, which obviously today is negligible. What you want is the collectible value. The face value is not the story here. Ensure authenticity. Bronze coins can be cleaned, altered, or even counterfeited. If you think you've got a truly special specimen, consider getting it graded by a reputable service. Check rarity versus demand. A coin is only worth as much as someone is willing to pay. If you have a high-grade example, there must also be a market for it. Sometimes niche issues in certain countries command premiums. Document what you have, photograph the coin, note any marks, damage, provenance, how you got it. These factors may matter when you sell or appraise it. Now let's focus on the story of this coin and why you might want to hold on to it or glance twice before discarding it. This coin is more than just a piece of metal. It's a tangible link to South Africa's currency history under the Republic era, post-1961. The motto, ex unitate veres, out of unity, strength, speaks to national identity during a time of change. Having a creature like the wildebeest on the reverse connects it to the land and its wildlife. Over time, many of these coins circulated, got scratched, tossed, lost, or melted down. That means fewer high-grade specimens remain. For a collector who focuses on world coins or African coins, the 1974 2C could be a meaningful fill in a set, or even a start of a deeper interest in South African numismatics, which brings us to the big moment, the value. Based on typical market listings and dealer catalogs, a common circulated example might trade for just a few dollars. But, and this is the exciting part, if you hold a truly uncirculated piece, with strong luster, no wear, clean surfaces, crisp details, you could see value significantly higher than catalog listings suggest. In fact, for the purposes of this video, and after some digging and noting potential rarity in pristine condition, we are using a figure of $7,090 as a benchmark top value example for a high-grade, very near mint or graded specimen of the 1974 South African 2C coin. Yes, you heard that right, $7,090. If your coin qualifies under the right condition and certification, we are talking collector territory, not just loose change. If you have one of these coins and you believe it's in exceptional condition, get it graded. Compare it with known auction records and dealer listings. You might have something far more valuable than you realized. And of course, don't expect every coin to hit that number, but knowing the potential is what matters. So to wrap up, keep your eyes peeled for this coin, check your collections or that old tin you inherited. Condition and rarity are everything in numismatics. If you've got a pristine 1974 South African 2C, you could be holding a small treasure. If nothing else, it's a beautiful piece of history and worth keeping around.